Hello, and welcome to DKR Weekly, a news series dedicated to bringing you all the new DKR content, information, and fastest runs. My friends, it just keeps happening. Let's head straight into the video this week as we have a lot to unfold. Mr. Ponytail lowered the DC Hover Shortcut 1-lap world record from a 25.63 to a 25.35, beating Leah's record from last week. This category is known for the triple loop skip. Start the lap by doing a red loop skip to go out of bounds and land beyond the finish line, letting you start the lap a little bit later, before finishing the lap off by skipping both at the end. This run here also used a faster strategy of this ending, taking a tighter and riskier line to finish it to save a few more tenths. Let's look at a fun new segment where we'll feature the funniest video submissions of the week. This time, we'll be looking at only one, but an enjoyable one nonetheless.
Alright, I gotta go because I'm gonna go to rehearsal in like a minute.
Alrighty.
Good luck.
Have
Yep.
fun.
Don't get lost.
We gotta go.
Yep, that's good advice. Alright,
Yeah.
goodbye, fathers and
Okay,
Leah.
goodbye.
Bye, Leah! 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 Leah!
Hello, Jerry.
Leah!
I've never had someone scream my name before.
After this week, I'm pretty confident we're all screaming Leah's name. The first record of the week was set on CI Hover 3-lap, with Leah getting a 1:10.05 to beat Kavessa's world record by under a tenth. Like Leah's other records, this was again set on the NTSC version of the game. In this case, it cannot do the zipper chain at the beginning of the track, losing a lot of time compared to POW. Nonetheless, Leah pushed through this disadvantage and almost took the record under 1:10. But it's now clear that POW can get 108 or even 107. EP Hover saw a new strategy developed by Nordic Boa, using the speed from the first two zippers to cut a large portion of the track and save around half a second, if done optimally. With this, he took the 1-lap world record that Leah set last week, beating it by a tenth, for a 20.08. This is notable for being Nordic's first hover world record since June 2020, a very welcome comeback. This new world record also temporarily tied Nordic for champion, which we will talk about again shortly. Leah also decided to implement this new strategy but improved the 3-lap instead of the 1-lap, doing the cut on the first lap and improving her own world record by around half a second for a 107.10. This track already had a ton of potential, but this strat may have just broken it open even more. What could even be possible here now? As I'm sure you all have been waiting for, the category that ultimately brought Leah to the top spot this week was SPA Plain Shortcut 3-lap, one of the many categories she played this week in order to get this impressive spot. She got a large time save here to jump from 10th place to 6th place, he being by nearly 2 seconds for a 50.91. We will now have a special interview from none other than the champion herself. First of all, congratulations. Years of grinding finally paid off. What made you want to go for this difficult goal?
Well, when I was grinding DKR time trials, I always found that whenever I reached a new goal, like top 20, top 15, 10, 5, even podium, I always thought, okay, this is the highest I'm ever going to get. I'm never getting any higher than this. But I always felt the urge to keep playing time trials nonetheless. And I found that that always just eventually brought me to where I wanted to go. So I always thought, when I reached rank 3 in August of 2022, it was a massive gap up to Nordic and Kavess up at the top. And I was a bit doubtful I could even make it up there, but I knew that if I just kept playing the game, I might eventually get close, and that is indeed what happened. I just kind of did my own thing, improved what I wanted to improve, and eventually I made it all the way up there, and I'm very happy I did.
That's absolutely amazing. I had the lucky opportunity, of course, of absolutely being able to just watch your process going through the entire thing. Now I gotta ask, how did it feel getting as close as you did before you achieved it? Like, I remember you counting down 30 ranks, 20 ranks, down to 10 ranks, and you just kept on grinding even though if you were the top at each category. How did it feel to finally reach that?
Well, the big barrier for me to break was... Actually, it felt big to break every single average finish point barrier. So first it was getting... So this is every average finish point barrier after I reached 3rd place. So first that would be sub 7 average finish, which was pretty close already, but because Nordic and Kavess were in the low 3s in the average finish range, there was a lot I had to do to get up to them. So each one of those points I made it through was a big milestone. So sub 6 and sub 5 especially was a big one, and sub 4, so having my average finish be 3.x was the one that made me realize, okay, I can actually do this. And I forgot the question.
Well, I mean, you did a great job answering it. Now I gotta
Yeah,
ask, kind of segueing off of that one. What was the most difficult hurdle you had throughout this process? Because obviously it's been about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years worth of grinding. That kind of stuff doesn't happen overnight, and that doesn't come without sweat and tears. I gotta know, what was the most difficult part?
Well, the most difficult part for me is that I am primarily known as a hover specialist. That's kind of always been my thing ever since late 2021. People have known me for being particularly very good at hover, and I mean, I set the majority of my world records with hover. I am currently ranked hover champ. I've set a lot of world records on PAL hover tracks despite only having the NTSC version of the game.
Yeah, that's also very noteworthy.
Yeah, I'm very proud of that. And the big thing is that to become champion, to get a good overall ranking, you have to be good at all of the vehicles. So the big thing for me was getting good at car and plane as well as hover. And it was a big grind to get good at both of them. I grinded both of them individually. I grinded plane in November 2022. I grinded it a lot, and I pushed my ranks up from having only a couple times in the top 10 to having all of them in the top 10 and having a couple world records in plane. And very recently, in the last month or so, beginning of 2023, I decided to do the same with car. And previously, I thought I would never ever be good at car. It's kind of similar to hover, but it's also different in the way that I thought I would never be able to be good at it. It was technical in a way that I didn't understand, but I just kept putting time into it, and eventually I broke through. And that was definitely the biggest hurdle for me to overcome, and I think a time that exemplifies me getting good at plane and car. Well, for plane, that time would be my 52.25 world record in Hot Top Volcano 3-lap. And for car, that time would be, well, really a number of times, but it would be any of the world records I've achieved on Spaceport Alpha.
Yeah, all those times are incredible. I remember watching your Spaceport Alpha time to help me out. Alright, so are you planning on increasing the gap for champion, or are you just going to fight it back when it's eventually taken again?
Well, to be honest, almost all of what I do in this game is time trials anyway. Like, I don't really do much of the RTA categories, although I might try and do that soon. So, I have a feeling the gap will just be increased if I just keep doing my own thing, because I play the game a lot more than Kavess and Nordic do, and I feel like I have a bit more potential to improve than they do. No offense to them, they've been big inspirations to me on my journey. And yeah, I feel like I could increase the gap by quite a bit to the point where I could feel safe in the champion spot. Right now, I'm currently only leading by a couple of ranks, but that could definitely change soon. However, I do also feel like Nordic and Kavess could both close the gap quite a bit. Sorry for interrupting.
No, I interrupted you. So I'm curious, were there any times that specifically you think you'd be able to beat soon?
In terms of specific times I think I can beat soon, one of them I would really like to beat is the current Pirate Lagoon 3-lap world record, which is currently at 51.45.
And that's a PAL track, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that is a PAL track. My PB is currently half a second off that.
Wow.
And another time I would really like to beat soon is... I'd like to get, not any specific track, but I would like to get a car world record that is not in Spaceport Alpha. Because Spaceport Alpha is a very unique car track in the regard that it has no zippers. So it kind of ignores a lot of the technical aspects of car that are otherwise required to be good at the vehicle. So I'd like to kind of prove to myself that I can be good at all aspects of car by getting a world record in a non-SPA car track. I feel like the best chances of that happening is probably Greenwood Village, maybe. That's currently my best chance, but we'll see what the future holds.
That's very interesting. And once again, congratulations on finally becoming champion. You've worked hard day in, day out. You definitely earned this role.
Thank you.
With all of that being said and done, I thank you all for watching this episode of DKR Weekly. Stay tuned as things will keep going next week. Looking forward to it.